If you live in the Northern Hemisphere like me, we have reached the best time of year, soup season, and I have 3 cozy vegan soups for you. We're starting off with this cheesy cauliflower soup, which is kind of like broccoli cheddar's older, cooler sister. So we're going to start off with sauteing our veggies in some oil. So we got some onion, we have garlic, carrots, and cauliflower. And you're just going to take a whole head of cauliflower and chop it up into florets, and you can use the stems too. And we're going to saute these for about 5 to 7 minutes over a medium-low heat. All the written out instructions are on the blog post in case you're curious, and ingredients are written down below. So once the veggies are sauteed a little bit, we're going to add in water, and then I'm going to use Better Than Bouillion. This is the vegan chicken one. You could use the vegetable one, or you can just use vegetable stock or broth. I just like Better Than Bouillion because I really do feel it gives it that cooked all day kind of flavor. So adding that in, and a little bit of nutritional yeast, which is optional. You can leave it out if you want. And you're going to let this boil for about 20 to 30 minutes until the cauliflower and carrots are fork tender. And now you are going to whip out your handy dandy immersion blender. If you don't have one, I highly suggest you get one, or you can do this in a regular blender. If your blender is glass, you'll just need to let the soup cool for about 10 minutes before putting anything in. So we're just going to now start blending everything up until it becomes nice and creamy and smooth. And that's why I love this soup, because the cauliflower is what turns it into this really luscious texture without adding in any nuts or anything. Like, it's so awesome. So once I got that really nice and smooth and I knew all the vegetables were broken down, I added in some non-dairy milk. You guys should know this by now, but I'm a big fan of Ripple pea protein milk, but of course any non-dairy milk that you like will work here. Just make sure it's unsweetened and unflavored. And then we're going to add in vegan mozzarella, and we're just going to let this cook up for another 5 to 10 minutes until everything is heated through and warmed up. You can add in any seasonings you like black pepper, salt, onion powder, garlic powder. Taste it, add in what you like, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very easy to make. I just, like I said, let everything cook until I knew that vegan cheese was melted down. It makes it super luscious as well and thickens it. And then we can just plate it up in our little bowl, and I'm going to simply garnish it with just a little bit of black pepper, vegan cheese, and thyme. And this soup was so good. I love the flavors, and like I said, if you like broccoli cheddar, I think you'll like this a lot. And you can play around, of course, with adding in other vegetables and different kinds of vegan cheese. I go into that more in the blog post if you want to check that out. Let's move on to our next soup. For our next soup, we're going to be making my absolute favorite French onion soup. So we're going to need 3 Vidalia onions. I love Vidalia onions because they're the sweetest. If you can't find Vidalia, you can use any sweet onion. That will be great. I'm going to thinly slice them and then put them in my big pot. We're going to add in vegan butter and oil and a little bit of salt. And now you are just going to have to be patient and let these cook for a good 30 to 45 minutes until they turn nice and dark in color and begin that caramelization process. I like to put a lid on to help activate the cooking with steam as well. So once they started to look like this, I felt pretty good about where they were. I added in some balsamic vinegar. I like to do this instead of adding in wine to my French onion soup, and some sugar. Just enhances the overall sweetness. Just use organic sugar a little bit. It's optional. And those onions are looking absolutely gorgeous. So now I know we're ready to move on. So I have some fresh thyme and bay leaves. You can also use dried, of course. We're going to add in a bunch of, this is the vegan chicken broth again from Better Than Bouillion. I just already prepared it this time, or they also have a vegan beef broth as well. So while you're letting the soup cook, I'm just going to cut some slices of bread. I'm using fresh bread, so because I'm using fresh bread that is soft, I'm going to toast it beforehand. If you are using an older, staler bread, which is probably more preferable for this, you can just throw it right in. So once the soup is looking good, everything is nice and warmed up and well incorporated, I'm removing those thyme leaves and the bay leaves, and we are ready to just kind of finish off our soup. I'm of course going to taste it. I will add in any additional seasonings that I feel I need, a little black pepper, a little salt, but this soup is so flavorful and so delicious. I love onion soup, and this is also great for freezing as well. Be sure to check out the blog for all those instructions. So now I'm just going to add it into my little crock or any oven safe dish, and then we're going to add our little toasted bread on top, some vegan mozzarella, and a little bit of vegan parmesan. Pop that in the oven to broil till it gets nice and golden and melty, and oh my gosh, look at how good that looks. Add a little bit of black pepper and thyme on top just for presentation and to look pretty. And that's it. So simple, so delicious. Tastes just like the French onion soup I used to eat before going vegan. And there's just something about that soggy bread and the onions, the sweetness. For our last soup, we're going to be making a vegan chicken gnocchi soup. I'm going to start off by cutting up our onions and garlic for sauteing. I feel like all winter and fall, you just need to have onions, garlic, carrot, and celery in your fridge to just be making soups with. So I'm going to saute those up. Then I'm going to add in tofu in here. Now the tofu is what is going to make this soup creamy, and it's going to add in protein. I love doing this. If you watched my meal prep video, you know that's how we made a creamy sauce. Then I'm going to add in water, bay leaves, and Better Than Bouillion. Maybe one day they'll want to sponsor me. So we're going to just mix that in there, let it cook up, let it do its thing. We want the tofu to get really nice and soft and absorb the flavor, and that's it. You're going to let this hang out. I'm going to remove my bay leaves. Now, because I want this to be super thickened and creamy, I did decide to put this in a blender, so I let it cool for 10 minutes. Then I'm adding in my cold non-dairy milk. Again, I'm using Ripple, and then I'm going to spoon my soup in. I'm not going to put all of it in. I'm going to make sure I get all of the tofu and then about half of the broth. You don't need to get all of the broth in there. And like I said, the tofu just works so well here for adding in that protein, adding in that creaminess. It keeps the soup light. But of course, if you want to use cashews in here or vegan heavy cream, like you can make this as indulgent and luscious as you want. But I really like it with the tofu, so try it. Then we're going to add in a little bit of vegan cream cheese, again, to thicken and give it creaminess. And let that cook in there, melt up. We're going to add in some vegan chicken. This is the Abbott's Butcher one. It's really good. I like that one. So just throwing it right in there. Or you could also use tofu if you want. Then we're going to add in little carrots and a lot of spinach. The spinach is always so funny to me. It always looks like there's so much, then it melts down to nothing. And we're just going to let this cook up until that spinach really starts to wilt down. And then finally, we have to add in the gnocchi because this is the most important ingredient, and most packaged gnocchi are totally vegan friendly, so we're just going to throw those in there. They don't take very long to cook, that's why you add them in last, and they take like 3 to 5 minutes to float to the top, and that's it. Then you can add in any seasonings you like. You could do garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper. The things with soups is I feel like they're always like a rough recipe, like add in what you like. I also added some red pepper flakes later on, and it was really good, so I just added in my seasonings, mixed it around, and then gave it a taste. And once I felt it was to my preferences, we're done. And I love everything in here. I think this is a really nice, hearty, filling soup. So good. And just giving my final taste, making sure I like it. Always be sure to taste your food before you serve it. And now we can plate it up. And this is just so good in there with the gnocchi. It's really delicious. And I really like it because it just like packs in a lot of protein with that vegan chicken and the tofu. And there you go. That's how you make a really delicious gnocchi soup. And then I just topped it with a little bit of red pepper flakes and a little bit of dried parsley, and that's it. Super delicious. You could even put some vegan Parmesan on here. That would be really yummy. And now you have these cozy soup recipes. I hope you enjoy these. I have plenty more on the blog and the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you soon with more recipes. Check out the description box for everything you want to know down below.